Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to go through another set of SA1 paper. So let's get started. Okay, question 1. At the baking class, 5.04 kg of flour was shared amongst 8 students. How much flour did each student get? Express your answer in grams. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the 5.04 kg right to grams. You got to multiply it by 1000, right? So it will become 5040 grams. Okay, the next step will be 5040 divided by 8. So 5040 divided by 8 will give me 630 grams. Okay, pretty straightforward. Question 1. Question 2. Container below has a square base. It is 3/5 filled and the volume of water in the container is 1296 cubic cm. What is the height of the container? Okay, so the first thing that you can do is we're gonna find what is the volume of the container. So 3/5 of the container is filled and it contains 1296 cubic cm of water, right? So we're gonna find what is 105. That is divide 1296 divided by 3. Give me 432. Now 5/5 would be, multiply it by 5, it's gonna give me 2160. Okay, so to find the height of the container, you need to use the volume divided by the base area. Right, equals to volume divided by the base area. Okay, we have the volume, and since it is a square base, so the base area will be 12 times 12. Okay, this will give me 15. Okay, so the height of the container is 15 cm. Question 3. A shop sells chocolate and vanilla cakes. 40% of the cakes are vanilla and okay, she sold 100 chocolate cakes. In the end, 60% of the cakes left are vanilla cakes. How many vanilla cakes are there? Okay, so if 40% of the cakes are vanilla, it means that vanilla, alright, V is equals to 40%, and so chocolate will be equal to 60%. Okay, so she sold 100 chocolate cakes in the end. Okay, in the end, 60% of the cakes, okay, left are vanilla, which means that chocolate is 40%. Okay, remember she sold 100 chocolate cakes. Okay, in this case, it means that the vanilla cake remain unchanged. So what I can do is I can solve it by ratio. So V is to C, I change it to simplest form with 2 is to 3. Okay, in the end, V is to C, I change it to simplest form with 3 is to 2. Since the vanilla cake remain the same, so these two should be the same, I'm gonna times 3 times 2. This is going to give me, okay, why did I write see here, this should be 3. Nine times 2 will give me 6 is to 4. Okay, so now you can see that the chocolate cakes reduced from a 9 unit to a 4 unit, which means that the 5 unit drop is equal to the 100 chocolate cakes. Okay, we can find out what is 1 unit, and from there we can find out how many vanilla cakes are there. So vanilla is 6 units, so it will be 120. Question 4. Machine A and B will switch on at the same time for 10 minutes. Machine A prints 120 pages per minute. Okay, after 10 minutes, machine A printed 300 more pages than machine B. What is machine B's printing rate per minute? Okay, so for machine A, it prints 120 pages, okay, per minute. So which means that in 10 minutes, okay, it's gonna print 1200 pages, right? Okay, so this 1200 pages is 300 more, which means that for B, in 10 minutes, okay, it can print 1200 minus 300, which is 900 pages. Okay, so to find what is machine B's printing rate per minute, we just need to use 900 divided by 10, okay, which will give you 90 pages per minute. Okay, so the answer is 90. Question 5. A 2-digit number has a remainder of 5 when it is divided by 9. Okay, it has a remainder of 2 when it is divided by 11. Find the 2-digit number. Okay, so in this question, I'm gonna do the listing method. That is, I'm gonna list the 9 timetable first. Just gonna write down maybe the first 6. Okay, and then since it has a remainder of 5, so I'm gonna add 5 to all of them. Okay, and below I'm gonna write down the 11 times table. And since there is a remainder of 2, then I'm gonna add 2 to all of them. Okay, I haven't got any numbers which are the same, so which means that I need to continue. Okay, 63 plus 5 will give me, 68. Okay, I've already found the 2-digit number. So the answer is 68. Okay, 68 divided by 9 will give you a remainder of 5. 68 divided by 11 will give you a remainder of 2. Question 6. Benjamin has $8M. He has twice as much money as Katie. Alice has $5 more than Katie. Okay, how much money does Alice have? Express your answer in terms of M. And for part B, find the total amount of money they have if M is equals to 10. So let me write down first. Benjamin is 8M. Okay, he has twice as much money as Katie, so which means that Katie will have 4M. Okay, Alice has $5 more than Katie, which means that Alice will have 4M plus 5. Okay, so this is the answer for part A. Okay, part B, find the total amount of money they have if M is equals to 10. So if M is equals to 10, Benjamin will have 80, Katie will have 40, and Alice will have 35. So we just need to add them together. 80 plus 40 plus 35. It's gonna give me 155, sorry. Question 7. The diagram below not drawn to scale. A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. Find B, E, G. So B, E, G is here. Okay, the first angle that I'm gonna find will be this. Okay, if you see this U shape, since these two lines are parallel to each other. Okay, so this angle plus this angle over here is equals to 180, which means that 180 minus 110 will give me 70 degree for this. Okay, then next I can find the area of a triangle for this triangle over here. So this will be 180 minus 70 minus 30, which will give me 80. Okay, if this angle is 80 over here, that means this angle over here is 100 because of angle on a straight line. So the answer is 100. Question 8. The graph below shows the number of pens sold at a bookshop at the end of each month over 5 months last year. Okay, so that's January, February, March, April, May. Let me write down the number first. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gaps. So each one is 2, 4. This one is 24. This is 28. This is 40. This is 44. And this is 36. Okay, so which 1 month interval has the greatest increase in the number of pens sold? Okay, it's got to be the interval over here. Okay, so the interval will be from Feb to March. Part B, find the ratio of the number of pens sold in January to the total number of pens sold in the 5 months. Okay, J is to total. So in January is 24. Let me find what is the total. Okay, 24 plus 28 plus 40 plus 44 plus 36. It's going to give me 172. Okay, change this into the simplest form. It's going to give me 6 is to 43. Okay, this is the answer for part B. Question 9. Brenda and Joe had $430 altogether. After Brenda spent 5 over 8 of her money and Joe spent a quarter of his money, the amount of money Joe had became twice as much as Brenda. So how much money did Joe have at first? I'm going to draw a model for this. First, I'm going to draw the model that's in the end. Okay, Joe will have twice as much as Brenda. I think I will cut it out first. So this is Joe. Okay, then next I'm going to draw for Brenda. Okay, so for Brenda, after spending 5 over 8, she's left with 3 over 8, right? So this is basically 3 out of 8, which means that I need to cut it into 3 parts later. Okay, but instead of cutting it into 3 parts, I'll prefer to write a 3 unit inside. Okay, Joe spent a quarter of his money, which means that he's left with 3/4, right? And just nice, this one is 3 units over here, so I just need to add a 1 unit over here. Okay, since I'm gonna cut B's share into 3 units, which means that I need to cut the rest into 3 units also. I'm gonna write a 3U, 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 and 3U. Okay, so for Brenda, which means that Brenda will need to plus another 5 unit back. Okay, and remember they had $420 altogether, which means that this one, the total will be $420. Okay, we can count the total number of units. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 3, 15. 15 plus 5, which means that 20 units is basically equals to $420. 1 unit is 21, and they're asking for how much money did Joe have at first. Joe will have 12 units. $252. Question 10. Rachel spent $1,200 of her salary on a television set and 60% of the remainder on an oven. She had a quarter of her salary left. How much was her salary? Okay, I'm gonna draw a simple model over here. This block will represent the 1,200. Okay, and after which I'm gonna draw another block over here. This is the remainder. Okay, out of which she spent 60%, which is maybe somewhere here. 60% of the remainder of an oven, and she had a quarter of her salary left. So if this is 40%, okay, this would be a quarter of her salary. Now we can treat the 40% as 40 units. Now we know that a quarter is equals to 40 units, which means that 4 over 4 is equal to 160 units. Okay, which means that the whole thing should be 160 units. If over here is 100 units, it means that over here is 60 units. Okay, so the next part we can say that 60 units is equals to 1,200. You can find what is 1 unit, 20, and you can find what is the total is 160 units, right? Okay. That will give you $3,200. Question 11. The figure below not drawn to scale consists of 3 identical squares, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, which 2 pairs of angles are equal? Okay, what we can do is we can list it out over here. Okay, you can see that A plus B plus C is equals to 90. B plus C plus D is equals to 90, and C plus D plus E is also equal to 90. And you can see that in all these 3 there is a C over here, which means that we can cancel off the C. Okay, which means that AB is equals to BD is equals to DE. Okay, we can use any two of the pairs. So for part A, we can say that AB is equal to angle DE. Okay, for part B, if angle C is 15 degrees, find the sum of angle A plus B plus C plus D plus E. Okay, in this question, you got to realize that if you look at this box over here, if you move it downwards like this, here will also be moved downwards like this. Okay, which means that this part over here is basically the 15 degree also. Okay, if angle C is 15 degree, which means that to find A plus B plus C plus D plus E, which is this whole thing, I just need to use 180 minus 15, which will give me 165 degree. That is the answer for part B. Question 12. Shanice needs to score 90 marks for her last mathematics test in this semester so as to improve on her average score from 75 to 78. Okay, how many mathematics tests were there altogether in this semester? Okay, in this question, we need to know that the average of the previous tests were all 75, right? Okay, if she were to take another test and she needs to score a 90 to it, think of the test as this 90. Okay, in order to increase the average to the new 78, you need to cut away this part over here. Okay, so this part over here will be 90 minus 75. 90 minus 75 will give me 15. Okay, this 15, if it is thrown away, you will get back the original average, but now I need to increase it to 78, which is plus another 3. Okay, so what I need to do is I'm going to use this 15 over here divided by 3. Okay, that will give me a 5. This is the answer for the number of tests that were taken altogether in this semester. We can check for the answer. We can check if our answer is correct or wrong. Okay, to check if there are 5 tests, right? So you use 75 times 5 and check what do you get. Oh, sorry, it should be 75 times 4 first. 300. Okay, if her 5th test scores a 90, it will be 390. Now, if I use the total score divided by the 5 tests, I get a new average of 78. Okay, so this shows that the answer is correct. Question 13. Daniel had some apples and oranges. He threw away 1/5 of the apples and bought some oranges to replace the number of apples thrown away. Okay, he then gave a quarter of the apples and 25 oranges to his neighbors. In the end, he had 54 apples and 81 oranges left. How many oranges did he have at first? Okay, so for this question, since they gave us the number of apples and oranges in the end, we are going to try to work backwards and to get how many oranges he have at first. Okay, this is the end. Apple is 54. Oranges is 81. Okay, so the last thing that he did was he gave a quarter of the apples and 25 oranges to the neighbors, right? So which means that for the oranges, I need to plus a 25. Okay, and then for the apples, you need to know that this is 3/4. Okay, I need to find what is 4/4. So for the apples, I need to use 54 divided by 3 and then times 4. I'm gonna get 72. Okay, for the oranges, it will be 81 plus 25. I'm gonna get 106. Okay, so in the next step, he threw away 1/5 of the apples and bought some oranges to replace the number of apples thrown away. Okay, so if he threw away 1/4 of the apples, that means this is basically 4/5, right? Okay, so I want to find what is 1 unit because that is the amount of apples that he threw away. Okay, so 72 divided by 4 will give me 18, right? So which means that he bought 18 oranges to replace the number of apples. So in this case, I will need to minus away 18. Okay, 106 minus away 18 will give me 88 oranges. Okay, so this is the number of oranges he had at first. Question 14. In the figure below, BF, okay, is the diameter of the circle with center O. BC is equals to CD is equals to DE and is equals to EF. Find angle FBC. FBC is this angle over here. Let us try to find this angle first. Okay, so we know that this is 180 degree and it is cut into 4 equal parts. So to find this angle, I need to use 180 divided by 4. That will give me 45. Okay, if this is 45 and this is an isosceles triangle because BO and OC are both the radius. BO is equals to OC is equals to the radius. So I'm gonna use 180 minus 45 divided by 2. This is going to give me 67.5 degree. Okay, this is the answer for part A. Part B, they want us to find angle BFA. BF A, which is this angle over here. A. Okay, I know that this angle over here is equal to this angle over here, and which means that I can find this angle over here. Okay, to find angle ABF, I can use 180 minus 67.5 minus 67.5. Okay, so this is also 45. Okay, or you can basically use the alternate angle, which will be easier. Okay, these two lines are parallel to each other. So if this is 45, this is also 45. Okay, so once we know that this angle over here is 45, we know that this is 90, we can find what is the angle over here. I'm gonna write the answer here. Angle BFA is equal to 90 minus 45, which is equal to 45. Question 15. Diagram below is made out of 7 identical rectangular blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the area of one block is 64 cm squared. What is the length of one rectangular block? And part B, what is the parameter of the whole figure? Okay, so we know that the area of one block, one rectangular block is 64 cm squared, right? Okay, so if you realize, you can actually cut this into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, because of here. And so each one of these is a square. So if we use 64 divided by 4, it's going to give me 16. Okay, which means that one of these is 16. Okay, which makes the length over here 4 and here 4. So now we know that the length of the block is 16 cm. Okay, for part B, they want you to find the parameter of the whole figure. Okay, this question I can use a trick over here. Instead of finding the parameter okay, instead of finding what is this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this, instead of doing this, okay, if you do this, you have a lot of working to plus. Of course, with the use of the calculator, it might be easier, but if you key the wrong thing, like if you press wrongly into your calculator, you also make some careless mistake. It'll be easier if you do it this way. Treat this like a one whole 4-sided figure. Okay, I'm going to move it a bit. How come I can't move it? Yeah, okay. So now what you can do is, I'm gonna use yellow. Okay, these two sides, you can move here, move here. Same goes for these two sides, you can move here and here. Okay, same goes for these two sides. So you go to here and here, which means that we just need to find the length of this part and the breadth of this part here. Okay, this would be 16 plus 4 plus 4 plus this part is another 4, which is 8. Okay, and this part will be 4 plus 4 plus 16. This will be 24. this would be 32. Okay, so to find the parameter of the whole figure, you just need to use 2 times 32 plus 24. Which is 112 centimeter. Question 16. The figure below is not drawn to scale. It is made up of a circle with center O and a 4-sided figure. Okay, 1/3 of the circle and 3/5 of the 4-sided figure is shaded. Find the area of the whole figure, which is this whole thing. Leave your answers correct to the 2 decimal place. Okay, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write down the ratio of the area of the circle. Okay, 1/3 of the circle and 3/5 of the 4-sided figure is shaded, right? So which means that, okay, for the circle, it will be the shaded area will be 1 unit and the unshaded area will be 2 units. Okay, but for the 4-sided figure, 3/5 of it is shaded, so which means that this is 3 units and the unshaded part will be 2 units. Okay, so you look at the shaded part, there's a difference, right? Which means that I need to change this into I need to times 3 to this. Okay, times 3 to this. So this becomes a 3 unit. And this becomes a 6 units. Okay, so we no longer look at these two. And now they want us to find the area of the whole figure. Okay, so we can see that the area of the whole figure will be 11 units, right? Area of the whole figure is 6 plus 3 plus 2, which is 11 units. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of the whole circle. Area of the whole circle will be pi times r square, which will give me pi times 15 square. Okay, the question didn't say which pi to use, so I'm gonna just leave it as pi first. 225 pi. This one is area of circle. Okay, so we can see that the area of the circle is 9 units, right? So which means that what we can do is we can let 9 units be equal to 225 pi. Pi what is 1 unit? Does it give me a nice number? Yes, divided by 9 is 25. Pi, and 11 units will be 25 times 11. Okay, I'm gonna write it down as 275 pi first, and then I'm gonna multiply the pi in. I'm gonna use the calculator pi. Okay, which is going to be 863.9379 dot dot dot, and I'm just gonna round it off to 2 decimal place, which is going to be 863.94. Okay, question 17. Benedict and Kelvin each have some money. If Benedict spends $36 and Kelvin spends $12 daily, Kelvin will have $260 left after Benedict spends all his money. So the key word over here is Benedict spends all his money. Okay, if Kelvin spends $36 and Benedict spends $12 daily, Kelvin will have $20 left after Benedict spends all his money. Okay, how much do they have respectively? So if you remember this question, I think I did it before. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is Benedict will spend $36 and $12 daily. So for B, I'm going to use a blue color box. Okay, it will be I'm going to draw it smaller. So this is $36. Okay, this will be D for the number of days. As for Kelvin, okay, using the same amount of days and spending $12. $12 is about 1/3, right? Okay, Kelvin will have $260 left, so I'm gonna plus another $260. Okay, but next, if Kelvin spends $36 and Benedict spends $12 daily. Okay, if Benedict is gonna spend $12 daily, okay, maybe I can write over here. This is Benedict, and this is. Oh, I'm not gonna write inside because later on I'm gonna need that space. Okay, so for Benedict is $12 is gonna be something like this, right? Okay, but in order for him to spend this, the total amount of money that he have, he will need to spend it. You need to take 3 times the amount of days, right? Okay, so this will be for Benedict, and that means since Kelvin is spending $36 a day, right? So he's, I'm gonna use the shape. This will look maybe something like this 3 times. Okay, I'm gonna cut. This is 36. So you can cut it into 9 equal parts. Okay, D, 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 and okay, Kelvin will have $20 left. Okay, so this part I can also cut it up into this thing over here, into 3 equal units, and I can let this be the 1 unit. Okay, so looking at the black color box, this is 1 unit, right? You can see that 1 unit plus 260 is basically equal to 9 unit plus 20. Okay, if you draw your model for this, you should be able to get 8 unit is equal to 260 minus 20, which is 240. Okay, so 1 unit will be equal to $30. So this is 30. Okay, so which means that to calculate the amount of money that Benedict have, Benedict will be equal to 3 units, right? 3 blocks. Okay, 30 times 3 is 90. Okay, as for Kelvin, he will have I can use the 9 units, which is 9 times 30, and then plus another $20. It's going to give me $290. Okay, so this is the answer for question 17.